the first place that I went to, they had nothing, and they handed me a flashlight. It took a while to get past that, because that whole trip for me was very traumatic. I thought the next year I'll be better prepared. So I went out on a trip, and I took every equipment I could carry with me, and I got there, and this time around, as usual, we had lots of patients come through. It was somewhere in northern Nigeria, and in that visit, I had tons of patients who had traveled long distances, and they would sleep outside their hallways and in their chairs to hold their seats, because you were only there for a week. At some point, the third day into this visit, this lady comes in, and she's being led in by her daughter. I had this little portable slit lamp that I was using, and the daughter helped her to sit down. And I took a look in her eyes. She had really high pressures. Her nerve was copped out, and she was blind in both eyes. And for a second there, I just sat back, and I said to her, I said, "Well, lady, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do for you." Singularly, that changed me. She fell on the floor, and in her native language, she started to wail. She had this, it was so agonizing. Everybody started to cry. I just joined them. Her daughter, who came with her, everybody was crying, the whole room. She said her life was over, and it really was, in a country where there's no support, where there's no other options, where that means your life is finished, and everybody else who is supposed to help you can't make a living because they have to stay with you. So I said to her daughter, I gathered myself, and I said to her daughter, I said, you take a seat, let me take a look. And she was probably in her 20s, 22, 23. And I took a look in this young girl's eyes. She was almost copped out, and she also had a pressure in the 30s and the 40s. And, by this time I had help. They had calmed the lady down, and I said to her, I said, I couldn't help you. I didn't get here soon enough, but at least maybe we can help your daughter. She has glaucoma too. She's 20-something. She will go blind. I can give you a year's supply of drops, and this is how she's to use them. But she's supposed to try and make it to the next town where there's supposed to be an eye doctor coming in once a month to get checked. And, that was something to do. Now, 10 years down the road, there's cure glaucoma, and there are procedures, like practices worked on a procedure called the GAT procedure. And a year ago, I went back on a different mission trip where I went to, and I left with hope. I left feeling that I had done a good service, not just hand people drops. That girl is probably, I don't know, she was from a village, probably couldn't afford her medicines. Maybe she's blind now. And I wish this happened 10 years ago, but this is what we have. But I think from now on, going forward, it will be different. And it will be different because of what we plan to do with cure glaucoma. That's what it means to me.